While I spend most of my workday having one-on-one sessions with my patients, I've made several television appearances as a psychiatric expert over the years. One afternoon not long ago, I sat down across from a newswoman in the studio. We were chatting before we rolled tape. She seemed pert, energetic, and emotionally connected. We hit it off immediately and were enjoying the hushed banter that ensues before taping. Then I noticed her fingernails were bitten down quite a bit. When I asked her about it, she told me her therapist had consistently recommended she take medication to calm her nerves, but she was resistant to the idea. "I bet your anxiety helps you in your work," I offered. "You have to be hyper-aware to know what's a good story to cover, and perceptive about when and how to push certain questions during an interview. Also, I would guess you have some obsessive traits that help you stay organized and productive, leaving no stone unturned." She looked at me like I truly understood her. "Yes." She stared at me, dumbfounded. "Yes," she repeated. "It's also just who I am. I am nervous, jumpy. I've always been like this. Why would I want to medicate away my own basic personality?" Why, indeed. More women than ever before are taking psychiatric medications, creating a new normal that isn't normal at all. It is at odds with our biology. Our brains are wired differently from men's brains, and our hormones do make us more moody. Women feel more, and for good reasons. By evolutionary design, women's brains have developed to encourage empathy, intuition, emotionality, and sensitivity. We are the caretakers and the life-givers. Our ability to recognize and respond to the needs and moods of others is key to their and our survival, the basis of family, community, and connection. We need to intuit when our children are in danger or in need, or when the men around us might have malevolent intent. We will subordinate when that's safest, but we will also aggressively protect those in our charge, whether family or friends. Women have always been asked to do difficult work, and our bodies have powerful coping mechanisms to meet these challenges. But living with mechanisms like moodiness and acute sensitivity can be a trying experience on a daily basis. If that weren't enough, like the newswoman I met on set, we are all under constant pressure to restrain our emotional lives and our natural strengths. The Altered States of America. One nation feeling like crap. It's not just that our hormones make us more moody. It's also that the pharmaceutical industry has exploited this biological attribute through advertising. Antidepressants are overwhelmingly marketed to women, stigmatizing depression as a feminine illness, making men less likely to seek treatment, and giving women the go-ahead to take their daily dose so they can cook for their families and dote on their children. Ads for antidepressants and antipsychotics used to treat depression are commonplace in women's magazines like Good Housekeeping and Better Homes and Gardens, and on daytime talk shows. They typically feature pictures of women with sad faces, staring out the window, unable to play with their neglected, frowning children or text their friends. I wish I were kidding about this last one. The after picture for one antidepressant shows a woman now on meds, happily texting someone on her phone. Many ads now encourage a woman to ask her doctor to consider adding an antipsychotic into the mix after a mere 6-week trial of her antidepressant has failed. While the number of Americans on antidepressants has skyrocketed year after year, two big bumps are seen historically. The first was when direct-to-consumer advertising broadened in 1997, completely orchestrated by the big pharma lobbies. The other jump in sales came after 9/11, when pharmaceutical marketing homed in on women even more. That September, the women I saw in my office were acutely anxious, fearful for the safety of their Wall Street husbands or their children who were in downtown elementary schools near the attack. They were tense, twitchy, and unable to sleep. Coincidentally, the makers of Paxil came out with a print ad of a woman on a crowded city street, clutching her bag, jaw clenched, surrounded by words like sleep problems and worry, with the tagline, "Millions could be helped by Paxil." Drug makers had found 9/11 to be a marketing opportunity. Glaxo doubled its advertising to $16 million in October 2001, compared with the previous October's $8 million. That's just 1 month of advertising dollars to hook all the women who had a natural, fearful response to a terrorist act. And it paid off big. They got on their meds and stayed on them. All of this direct-to-consumer advertising has given many of us, especially people who came of age in the 1990s, an inflated sense that we are lay psychopharmacologists. We've seen enough ads to know which medicines have lower incidences of sexual side effects, Wellbutrin, an antidepressant that does not raise serotonin levels, and which ones report an increased risk of sudden death. Abilify, an antipsychotic prescribed for depression when used in elderly dementia patients. My mother often said, "A little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing." Gen Xers are quick to stock up on pharmaceuticals garnered from friends, the internet, and physicians, and dole them out to friends and family. As the New York Times explained, they choose to rely on their own research and each other's experience in treating problems like depression. A medical degree, in their view, is useful but not essential.